Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another segment with your boy. Uh, Apologize for my tardiness. I had to get my stuff together. Here's the deal. We're going to talk about a couple of new releases. If you're new to this channel, my name is Skylar Santana, and on this channel, we talk about all things watch related. And I want to do a wrist check to start things off. I think that that's the right way to do because you guys know I get lost in my rants when I start cooking, I start getting lost in the rants. And therefore, sometimes I forget to show you guys or do certain things. So on my wrist is my Mark Time watch. This is the M1.2. We're going to talk about Mark Time. We're going to talk about new releases. He's going to be part of the conversation because he has a watch that's not a new release, but it is a newer release to the watch company itself. And I do want to talk about a few other things that were watch releases. But if you have any suggestions to any watch brands that are new releases, please put them in the comments. Let me know. If you're watching this on the playback, let me know what else that you've been interested in on the micro brand space, especially. That's what I'm most interested in, and that's what I want to see first and foremost, if you will. First thing to address, I've opened up a community post. So that's the first thing that I want to show you guys. Let's see if I can remember how to do this. Hang on one second. Add to stage. And then I think it's that. Yeah, so community post is something that I added onto my channel. And you guys can post your wrist shots like my man did here. He's showing his Bulova. Fantastic watch. Absolutely fantastic. Love to see it. I want to see what is on your wrist because that's what it's really all about. It's about me seeing what's on the wrist in the community, especially in this community, man. This is what I'm excited for. This is how I get put onto watches. It's why I'm able to talk about watches like we talked in the last live when we talked about Phoebus watches, right? I was put onto this company because I saw it on the wrist of enthusiasts. So let me know what you have on wrist, especially if, and it's not only when it comes to micro brands or web-based brands or independent brands or whatever you want to call them. It's not only focused on that, right? My man posted a Boulevard. I love Boulevard. I have Boulevard. I have the BLP. Fantastic watch. I want to know what's on your wrist because I want to know what's on the wrist of community members, and therefore you might pique my interest. You may be wearing a watch that I'm not privy to, and therefore I need to do my research, and that's why I'm coined as the learning professional here on YouTube. But I opened up community posts because I want to start the interaction. Here's the deal, man. I've been a part of communities, watch communities, for the better half of, I want to say 3 years now, 2-3 years. And so I know what it means to interact with people from the community. I know what it means to spark the conversation, right? It led me to what we're doing here today. So therefore, I don't know why I didn't do this sooner as far as opening up the community post, but it is open up to you guys for the public. Please be respectful. And if you have a micro brand that I'm not privy to, or at least I haven't talked about yet here on the channel, that's what I'm most interested for. And I want to see some shots of your collection. Let me give you guys an example, and I will catch up on chat. I did see some people already posted some things, but let's look at this. My man, Tom. Now, this guy, Tom Hudson, right? I think his channel's name is Tom Watch Talk or something like that. Here's the deal, man. I was on his lives for a couple of times. He posted his collection. Thank you so much for posting that. I want to know what's in your collection too, not just wrist shots. I want to know what's in your entire collection. It'd be cool to do collection audits as live streams. I want to introduce that as well. And I was on Tom's live, and I was also trying to get him to buy a Brew watch. You guys know I'm a big advocate for Brew. He actually liked the all gold dial. That's probably another micro brand that I should have put up on here that we're going to bring up on stage. But we're going to talk about a couple of new releases that we have. Smack Daddy's in the building. He says, good morning, good afternoon over here in New York from Australia. Very early. Dude, I appreciate you joining in on a very early morning. That's incredible, dude. For sure, for sure. So let's get straight into it, shall we? Let's do this. And fantastic that you posted your collection, Tom, by the way. We talked a little bit about Phoebus yesterday, or on the last live stream, I should say, and their new watch collection that they came out with, right? Their GMT, and I have one of those, and we're going to do a full deep dive review. So as far as new releases are concerned for the micro brand space, I like to call them web brands, but let's not get too caught up on words. There are a plethora of different options that you can choose from, and at a fantastic price. And guess what? I've unveiled the fact that people love this company for sure. There are big fans of it. There are people that have a lot of their watches in their collection for sure. And we are going to do a deep dive into the brand, and I'm going to have my wife wear this Phoebus watch so she can give me her thoughts. And we're going to do a deep dive review for that as well, if you will, right? So alongside that, we have a couple of other releases, man. And here's the deal, man. What I've been seeing most recently is people talking about, oh, by the way, tangents. I have on my other wrist the Timex Q. I had to get this one, man. I had to get this one. Did I have to get this one? No, but I wanted to. I have the Timex Q. It is on a Vario strap. Right? The reason why I put it on a Vario strap because it's a bit of a hair puller. So I like to get the leather straps, and Vario makes a fantastic strap. Likewise, on my Mark Time watch that I'm wearing on the other wrist that I showed you guys, I have that on a Montrose strap because Montrose straps are excellent, excellent. Here's the deal, man. I don't want you guys to think just because I've done reviews of these straps or watches, I recently purchased this orange strap for the Squale, right? 1521, right? Oceanic, polished, supple. I purchased this Montrose strap, dude. Like, for sure, I'm an advocate. I needed an orange, bro. Nothing hits harder than this orange minute hand and this orange strap to go with it. Like, when you want to talk about summer vibes, I mean, come on. And when you talk about a strap to match the quality of watch, super supple, purchase that. Now, here's the deal. Montreux was on vacation, had to go to Amazon, and that's where I purchased the strap for itself to keep up with it. What are you guys saying on chat? JC Watches in the building, and when he comes into the room, I have to showcase the Zelos. Because here's the deal, man. This channel is a lot about micro brands. So that is the Zelos Meteorite Mako that they recently released. And I'm a believer now. I am a believer of Zelos. Dude, I get it. And here's the deal. I don't want to use the word entry. I hate the word entry. I know. I never hated words until I started watch collecting, but I don't like the word entry, but it is the most affordable watch lineup that Zelos produces. And if that's the most affordable watch, I expect great things from other calibers of watches that they're producing. Yes. And the bracelet is fantastic on this watch. I do understand the aesthetics that he put together for this rendition. And guess what? Like most Zelos, it's sold out. So we're going to talk a lot about micro brands. There are a couple of releases that I'm going to weave into there. We are going to get off topic because that's how this channel rolls. I kind of go with the flow. I kind of see what you guys are talking about in chat. But I got to bring up Zelos if I'm going to see my man JC Watch in the chat because he is a Zelos guru. He's a Zelos connoisseur. JC Watch, welcome in. And there's another micro brand that I'm super excited about, and I've talked about a few times. We're going to bring them up a little bit later, but let me see what else you guys are saying on chat. They have different levels of watches. Exactly. Thank you for confirming that. They do have different levels of watches, but I'll tell you what, from their most affordable watch, exquisite. So therefore, I would have to imagine that from there, all you're going to get is movement improvement. You like that, huh? Yeah, I'm a poet. Don't even know it. Movement improvement. You're going to get, because here's the deal. On their most affordable line for Zelos, they already have the quick release. They already have the diver extension. Their bracelet is phenomenal. Listen, man, I know I'm going to tempt you guys talking about watches here because I talk about them almost as if I'm a salesman, but I got to put you guys on to the juice. And the juice is Zelos watches for sure. I'm a big advocate for them moving forward. And I suspected them to be fantastic because they have a ridiculously strong following. That's for sure. So, of course, Trap Vision is in the building. He says bars. Yeah. Actually, you know what? Forget about Poet. That was bars. I forgot already what I said. But I'll tell you what, guys. I'll tell you what. I have the same suspicion about another brand. Matter of fact, sorry about the shaking. I'm trying to control that. I have another suspicion about another brand, man. And I brought them up a few times, and I'm gonna bring them up again. And we're gonna flow through this. I'm gonna show you guys a couple of new releases in the interim of that. But let me see if I could find. Here we go. So I'll tell you what, guys. Wise are the guys out in Thailand. Matter of fact, let me correct something first. Let me bring myself up. I think I said Singapore last time. My mistake. I was live with my man Trap Vision, who's in the chat, and I said Singapore. That was a mistake, and that's why they call me the learning professional. Thailand, Bangkok. These guys have been there for quite a while, and literally everybody who's touched their watch, there's always been improvements because there's no such thing as a perfect watch. However, when we talk about value into a watch, and we're going to speak about that a little bit too, everybody has said they have crazy value in their watches altogether. And I had to see what time it was with them. Now, there's a specific reason why I'm bringing up this line, the 80X for their GMT True Traveler. That's because after a little bit of back and forth, after some time, I have, I think at this point, solidified something with them. So we are going to get one of their watches on the channel to take a look, for me to touch and feel for myself and give you guys my thoughts. But this is the one that I've seen the most for their GMT True Trav. And they're at that price point, right? Now, we've seen a price point a little stronger as far as saving for the GMT version. And the thing is this, man, there's more to it than meets the eyes. They do things that other brands are not adding to their watches. And one of the things is the 904 stainless steel. That's the most called out thing for it. And the only other brand that I can think of see of it is Rolex, right? Using that 904. There's a lot to the watch. There's a lot of specifications that are wrapped around it. A lot of people advocate for Wise, right? So just like Zelos, now, I don't want to put the two up against each other, but I will say this. Both of those brands have people who validate them and say that you are getting a fantastic price for value as is. So I am excited to unpack that. Hopefully we will get that in soon. I will unbox that with you as I normally do, because if it not for you, I wouldn't have a chance in to get those opportunities. So that being said, let's move on to the watch that I have on wrist and the company that I want to talk about as far as that's concerned, and that is Mark Time. Now, this is not a brand new release, to be fair, right? But this is his newest release, and I haven't talked about it yet on this channel. And I'll tell you what, man, in the conversation of how your watches are most valued in your collection, Trap just covered this. There was a couple of, I think, Nearly On Time also covered this as well. Now this is the third chance. See what happens? There's a ripple effect. That's how the community works. And when you have a community of watch creators or watch content creators, I love it, man. I love it. I didn't title it that, but that's where we're segueing, because when it comes to watches and what you actually value most in the watch for yourself, I'll tell you what, guys, the watch on wrist right now, the one that I'm intentionally showing by holding my chin, meant a lot to me, man. This M1.2 meant so much to me because it was the first time that I was given a watch as a creator, right? This is the M1.2 Bauhaus movement, Bauhaus design, very minimalistic. You can't see it right now on this angle that I'm showing you, but the outside of the dial itself actually has braille bumps. So if you're like, oh man, that's too minimalistic for me, believe it or not, you can set it down to the minute. There are braille bumps on the edge of it where you can do it. But here's the point, man. And it wasn't, listen, this watch was not scheduled to be gifted to me. I think that I just showed Mark Time enough cachet or enough respect or enough enthusiasm. I don't know what it was, but it was meant to be sent back. And then after the fact, he said, you know what, man, I appreciate everything you did. Hold on to that watch. And it was the first time that I was gifted a watch as a watch creator, a watch content creator. And I really, really appreciated that. And I was beside myself. I was like, holy crap, this guy felt like I was worth the time, if you will. So there are many, many, many other watches in my collection that have a lot of meaning to me, that have a lot of value, that mark a lot of things for myself. But as a creator, that was that. That was that. So bronze case. So JC Watch, I want to say this. I'm glad you mentioned that because you reminded me. So I think this was Mark Time's personal watch. I don't think that this was brand new when he sent it to me. So this is going to be the first bronze watch that I own that I'm going to, how do I say this? Restore back to its vibrance. In other words, I think it's like lemon juice or something like that. I got to look into it again. I've watched a couple of videos, but this is going to be the first watch that I do that. Now, the reason why is because I wasn't the very first person to own this. This was more like this was actually like not a prototype, but it was like one of the first ones that he made, and he kept it for himself, and then he gave it to me. So that's even more special to me. But I want it to be the first bronze material, and I love bronze material. I don't know if you guys like bronze material, but the fact that it patinas and that it's going to patina very differently from person to person, interacting with the environment versus interacting with the person itself versus the person and how they use the watch, if that makes sense. Yes. So if you are a person that likes to swim in the sea often, and if you're a person that's a desk diver, your bronze watch is going to patina very, very differently. Okay. And I love that. And you guys, I don't have it right next to me, unfortunately, but you guys know the first watch that I built had a bronze case. I was ready for a different material. Prior to that, I had a lot of stainless steel, of course, being the most common thing to own. But I was ready to try something else. And the first thing that I tried was a bronze material. Now, I have not done a restoration to that bronze patina because I was the first person to own that one. I was the first person. I built that one. There's so much love. When we talk about watches that we value the most, I think it has to do with marking a very big moment in your life or someone very special giving you that watch. I'll give you guys another example. This Venetianico. Yes. I know what you're going to say. He's bringing up Venetianico again. I am, but in a different way, because this watch marked a very special moment for me, right? This was given for my 35th birthday by my wife. And I think that this was this the first micro? I think this was the first micro brand that I've owned, right? So versus the Mark Time, which I told you guys looks like it's minimalistic on camera. I'll take it off wrist again because that's the proper thing to do, because from there you can't see it. But versus this Mark Time, which again, you could kind of catch, if you look on this side, on the light, you see that little braille on the light reflection, you can mark time down to the minute versus this Venetianico Aventurine. Now, I didn't have a Aventurine. That was upside down. I didn't have a Aventurine. Okay. She saw my reaction to the 2023 windup, and she was like, she purchased the watch. She actually didn't let me choose. She just purchased the watch. She pulled the trigger. She knew that I had a lot of interest in Venetianico, Aventurine. And she just surprised me totally. And I love the watch completely, for sure. And from there, I just, I love it. Now, when we talk about Aventurine, let me see what you guys say in the chat. Hold on. Let me not get too far. Nice, Skyler. Vinegar and salt is what you do to restore a bronze watch. Thank you, sir. Vinegar and salt. That's what we're going to do here on this one. I want to check. Now, here's the deal. I'm a little nervous. I want to check the water resistance for this before I go crazy, just to make sure. It should be okay. And you should just be brushing it on and stuff like that. But I'm going to check that, and I want to make sure I do it correctly and everything else. I might watch some YouTube videos in order for me to figure it out. Just cleaned your Zelos Visionary Bronze using that solution. Facts. Okay, cool. I'll definitely do that. Put your own patina on it. That's the idea, sir. Thank you for lining up to my ideas as is. So that's what I'm planning to do for that. Now, on the topic of aventurine, I have to bring up this watch. And this is from a very strong micro brand, Arabus. Now, here's the deal, guys. I've told you, just like I told you about the Venetianico, okay? I put you guys, I don't want to say I put you guys onto that. It's a little big-headed. But I've been shouting it from the top of a mountain. But Arabus, when you talk about web-based brands, bringing the term back, watch out. They're very dangerous. Very, very, very dangerous. What do I mean? I mean that in a very short couple of years, we're going to see some phenomenal things from them. And that is what I get most excited for micro brands. Now, why? It's not just about the accessibility and the affordability. It's watching these guys pivot and watching these guys because they're hungry, dude. You know how like you root for that fighter that's just hungry? That just like he's looking for that paycheck. He's looking for that win. He's looking for that come up. That's what I love to see about micro brands. Plus, you get the added benefit of them listening to the community and giving you what you want. And I couldn't think of a more perfect micro brand, web-based brand than Arabus, because Jody is the GOAT of reviews. Yes. So therefore he is plugged into the matrix of what we want. And therefore, once cash flow comes in, because it all is dependent on the bag that you have in order to, you could have great ideas. You could have phenomenal ideas. You could have hopes and dreams. However, what is required to make those things come to fruition is having money. Now, I'll tell you what, already from this ascent that we have bared and witnessed, man, oh man, oh man, oh man. When you talk about stats, when you talk about what's on paper, forget about the design. The design is phenomenal. That's up for debate. But what's not up for debate is what this watch gave you as a full package. And the fact that there are, what are they, 2.5 years young? Or maybe less than that? Maybe a little bit more. Whatever. The point is that they're sub 5 years and they're already pivoting very quick. And they're already giving us things that other web-based brands are not giving us. Yes. We saw on the last release, they gave us sizes that we're not accustomed to getting from web-based brands and everything else of the like. So they're the brand to watch for sure. If you're new to watch collect, here's the deal, man. And we talked about Islander, me, Travis and I, we talked about Islander. We talked about Zelos. We talked about a couple brands that are fantastic recommendations to getting into this crazy hobby of ours. Don't do it, by the way. If you're watching this, I low-key don't want you to do it, but I want you to do it. You know what I mean? Because if you do, it's a rabbit hole and you can't, there's no way out. Here's the deal. If you step through this door, if you're watching this and you somehow don't have a watch collection yet and you're new to watch collecting, if you step through this door, young man or young woman, there's no going back, but I want you to do it. We didn't say Arabus. And guess what? When it comes to specifications, and even the design is there, man. They're not just yet molded into their own thing. They're still early on. They don't have that click yet that really says from a mile away, that's an Arabus. In my own opinion, you may not agree. But specification-wise, there's no better deal. I think that they take the cake when it comes. Not that they take the cake, but there's many other people that offer it, but you will not be disappointed if you're new to watch collecting. You're going to learn things. Here's the deal. If you just took my words alone and you were like, okay, Skylar Santana said to buy an Arabus, so I'm going to buy an Arabus. If you bought an Arabus and you don't have all of the knowledge into what is put into that watch just yet, you're going to learn things about the watch and the specifications and say, oh, snap, the Arabus that I purchased has this. And we're talking specifically about the Ascent. The one prior, not so much, but the Ascent for sure. And we're talking about on the fly. We're talking about quick release. We're talking about all those things, right? So that's my rant. That's my rant. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to stop there because I'll go on forever. What are we talking? Oh, the chat done got away from me. The chat done got away. Let's see what we're talking about. Hold on. You say you're rocking your Spinnaker today, Angry Asian. And guess what? Guess who's rocking my Spinnaker? Yeah, that's right. My wife. And I put that on the worn and round strap habit combination. It looks phenomenal. She'll be home soon. Maybe I could show you. Maybe I won't. Spinnaker is another name. Spinnaker is very dangerous. Spinnaker is very fun. Spinnaker has the SpongeBob and they just have such they're another great name, man. That's another great name. What are we talking about? Hold on, let me catch up on chat. I went back. Now let me go forward. Eric Mack is in the building. Noctua watches. Actually, you know what? I didn't put up Noctua watches, and I meant to. And I'm not just saying that because you entered the building, but I do want to bring up your website, and I do want to showcase that off because you got a GMT, and the GMT is for me. And guess what, guys? If you want to see it, guess what? I can show you guys my Noctua watch because my wife is chewing on my Spinnaker. Now, Noctua watch is in the building. That is the watch. This is an all-loom dial. It is bead blasted. It does give you an SKX feel. It is a phenomenal watch. SKX meets Zin. You got to go with it. And we're going to bring up the website, and we're going to talk about his GMT because it looks phenomenal. And I get to wear it now. Now, I don't have it on the bracelet. I have it on the strap. I don't want to say unfortunately, because that allowed my wife to wear it. But the bracelet is also bead blasted as well, which makes it super duper toolish for sure. Eric Mack is in the building. He says, what's up, Skylar? What's up, chat? Listening while I do home improvement. That is fire. That is fire. I love that. Arabus is another wonderful brand. Exactly why I brought them up. Ben 10 is in the building. He blesses us with his presence. What's good, everyone? Skylar, are we? Yeah, we are. We're on that cognac, my guy. Cognac and watches. You know what? Then maybe the next live, and I don't want you guys to think I'm an alcoholic, but I'm a grown-ass man. And yes, we can say a couple of cuss words. We can let them slip. I'm a grown man. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you just need something to lubricate yourself before you talk about watches. Anyway, you're wearing your Cartier tank. I got to get to your level, bro. That's a phenomenal watch. You should, in some basketball shorts, so I can look like Gen Z. Well, I'll tell you what, bro. I got some basketball shorts on too, my guy. So that's how we doing it in the summertime, I guess. Gen Z. I like watching Gen Z, man. They're phenomenal people. Check out Stratham watches. I will check them out. For sure. I thought I liked bronze watches until I own one. I think I still suffer from the new Jordan feel when the material. You know what, man? You gotta put a bronze watch in your collection. I think that you at least, it may not be for you. You may want to start off with a very affordable version. Listen, the M1.2 is not too crazy if you want to just experience that. The Bauhaus movement, Bauhaus style Japanese movement. It's not bad, man. But I'll tell you what, if you're the type of person that doesn't like patina or doesn't like things changing over time, it's going to drive you nuts. But I think you should still experience bronze for sure. It's just another material. Here's the deal. You're going to get stainless steel. Gold is expensive. Platinum is another thing. You know what I mean? Like, bronze is just another way to get a different material and experience it for sure. Megazoid, yo, Mega, where have you been, bro? You have 3 write-ups that I need you to sign. Just saying, I missed you. Islander for me. We talk about Islander all the time, and Cynthia brought it up, Cuzzo. ISO 245 Miota 9075 Port Jefferson. Hello, do you like it? Because I do. And yes, to answer your question, this is a custom bezel insert. I love this thing for sure. Mark, I'm sorry, but I had to customize the bezel insert. But is it not Fuego? Fuego or nah? Let me know in chat. Like the bezel insert to match the actual dial colorway. I got a lot of glare going on. I do apologize. Hang on. There we go. Is that better? It's a little bit better. Is that Fuego or nah? That's fuego, bro. That's stop it. Stop it. You that's fuego. I'm not gonna accept anything else but a fuego reaction. I'm rocking my Zelos GT. Bro, stop throwing it in my face. It's just like the Zeneo watch. That watch is fantastic. That Zelos GT. That has the power indicator. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. 0 to 60 trap. Yep. Exactly. I got something new. Ooh! Okay, so here's the deal. Noctua watches, ladies and gentlemen. Here's the thing, man. I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna take this opportunity to give myself a little bit of a big head. When I tell you to watch for a brand, when I tell you to watch out, when I tell you to look, I'm telling you something right now. Okay? Noctua watches, and listen, he's my boy. But I get this, I have this gut feeling. I always get this gut feeling when you experience a lot of web-based brands, when you experience a lot of micro brands, whatever you want to call it, you start to get this spider sense. I'm telling you something right now. I've had multiple conversations with JP, who's the owner of Noctua Watches. He is loaded with a lot of information. He has a lot of skill of putting together watches. There's just a lot going on with him. I'll tell you what, man. He's just like if I invested in the company right now with like let's say 200K, he would take this to the stratosphere and back. He would go outer space and bring you back moon rocks. What I'm trying to say is that watch out. And I said this, I'm probably the first person on YouTube to say this. Noctua watches are going to do things that you have not seen before, incredible things. I'm going to leave it at that. Exactly, JC. That's what I said. Zealous updated video. Facts. President. I thought you said president. Raymond D is present. He wants me to make sure he doesn't get an absent notice. I have a bronze. Bro, I'm telling you, bronze is the way to go. The bronze is the way to. Yeah, you at least have to taste it. You have to at least sip the Kool-Aid. And if it drives you crazy and you want to interact with your watches a little bit more, restore it. You know, have that be the only watch that you have to restore. Feel like a little bit of a watchmaker, if you will. All right, let me stop pushing agendas. Let me catch up on chat. I'm trying to catch up. You guys are on fire right now. I have an isotope. Isotope's another one, bro. My wife loved. You know that all silver dial with, I don't want to say a leaf hands, but I want to say it was almost like leaf hands, but it was like a mirror dial. Man, oh man, my wife loved that watch, bro. Isotope is the truth. Old radium bronze pilot with only bronze watch. Fire. Love that. I would love to get an Arabus and a Spinnaker. I'll be honest with you. I vouch for both, man. Arabus and Spinnaker. I would say Spinnaker for more fun, Arabus for more spec. Nah, I can't say. Can I say spec? Yeah, I guess technically I'm right, but I would say for sure Spinnaker just has so much fun, dude. And Arabus, dude, you can't go wrong either way. I'm like stuck. I can't even give you a decision. The dome on that sapphire looks insane. I'm wearing a Seiko Monster version 2 Dracula. Fire, bro. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate you. Wearing my sin. Of course you're wearing your sin, bro. Subliminal. Of course you're wearing your sin. Stop the cap, bro. Stop the cap. He's been inspired. Have you tried a Phoebus? Come on, man. Of course well, to be fair, senor, or I don't even know if it's a male or female. I'm sorry. But I have tried. Wait, hang on. Technical difficulties. I have tried a Phoebus. See, here's the thing. That's their new GMT model that they just released. We are going to do a deep dive review on this channel. So if you want to know my crazy thoughts, and I'm also going to include what my wife thinks about the watch for sure. So yes, the answer to your question is I am experiencing Phoebus as we speak. I deserve a bro. You know why I'm laughing? Dude, I could say that I made it to the end of the year and I blinked X amount of times, therefore I deserve a watch. So I get what you're saying, Mr. Raymond D. And yes, I do believe that you deserve a bronze watch as well. Guys, I can't even get to the new releases because you guys are just blowing up the chat, which I love. I'm not complaining. Hello. But it's awesome. I have an isotope Mercury Shadow that you are mentioning. Yeah, okay. It's a dude, it's mesmerizing. Okay? It's mesmerizing. It's not a beautiful watch. It's mesmerizing. I think you agree. You own it, so I know you agree. I have a Zelos bronze, black onyx dial. Damn, I have to wait for the Xmas line to run the bracelet for it. Yeah, dude, that's the thing, man. A bronze bracelet is something that I have not experienced, and if I remember correctly, I believe bronze bracelet have a stainless steel backing. Because here's the deal: you don't want bronze directly making contact with your skin. It will tarnish on your skin. I don't know if that's the right term, but this one has a stainless steel backing. But I have not, and I think Zelos, yeah, you're Zelos guys. Zelos has it, and if Zelos did it, they did it very, very, very good. You know what else I'm interested about Zelos? I have this one here. Where is it? I have this one here, and I'll show you an example. Zelos also see. First of all, look at that engravement for their clasps. That's ridiculous. But I think that they have some clasp that you can press down and do the adjustment for. Dude, that stuff tickles my fancy in the best way. They must make a bronze bracelet that's absolutely ridiculous. I think I'm speaking correctly, and it is Zelos, but I definitely want to experience that. The pickguard is huge, unique, is way too big. Haha. Listen, a watch is only too big if you say it is, man. Wear the watch you want to. Oscar's he has the perfect attendance. I'm waiting for the live where he doesn't pop up, but it just doesn't happen. And he says, hello, everyone. Oscar, welcome in, sir. Welcome in. All right, I think I caught up on chat now. Yes. Okay, so let's bring up Noctua watches, shall we? Hang on one second. All right, so I showed you guys the Noctua that I own. This is the GMT that I was talking about. Let's see if I could click onto it for sure. He is in the building, so if you have any questions about Noctua watches, please add them into chat now, as he will be able to answer them. Let's go shop. Let's go. I want to go to the GMT because that's the new line. And he's already tempting us with something else that he's coming out with. So, guys, just look at how tactical this watch looks. Hang on one second. Let me do this. Just look how tactical and how just that's just handsome. It's just handsome. I mean, it's a GMT. I'm guessing this is an NH34. In fact, I know it's an NH34. I'm capping. Fantastic, man. Fantastic. I love the all loom dial. I love this little green here. I love the green band to go with it. I love the little owl. I just like it, man. You know what it is? It's very familiar. You know what I mean? It's very familiar. That's what it is. It's familiar with enough twist to not say that it's one of the, clomages, right? So if we talk about the SKX or we talk about the Sin, I have the SKX 009. I missed out on the 007. The 007 went crazy in price. But when we talk about Noctua watches, I think that's what made me excited the most about it, was the familiarity of the watch, but yet not being a one-for-one clomage, if you will, right? And can I look at that? Like bead blasted, bro? Do you like bead blasted, bro? Fantastic watch. I'm just saying, man, I love it. I absolutely love the watch. And he just said in chat that he's coming out with something very, very soon. Here's a wrist shot from him rocking the ring. I love it. Photos are getting good. I love it, man. I love it. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. And I think you chose the right color, sir, by this green GMT hand as is. So aside from that, let's bring up another brand. And it's a brand that I don't own, man. Unfortunately, I will own this brand very, very soon. This is a brand that some enthusiasts, when they buy the watch, they only wear the strap and they never put the bracelet on it. And you know who you are that's in chat. But it's a brand new release. Actually, it came out yesterday. And of course, we're talking about my boys out in Dallas, Texas. And who is that? I'll show you. Jacques Mason. Jack Mason is another phenomenal micro brand. I brought them up. We actually had their Pursuit pilot on the channel. We did a deep dive review. But I've been a big fan of Jack Mason ever since the 2023 windup. And it was before I knew who they were, which, by the way, once you get to know them, they make you want to buy the watch more. But when you talk about micro brands and my excitement to see them evolve and the evolution of them, they're a perfect example of the evolutionary steps that are taking place, because they've gone from using Miyota. By the way, let's not minimize the fact that first and foremost, with their straddle timer, they were like one of the first guys, if not the first guy on the block when it comes to micro brands to have the Miyota True Traveler GMT. That's a big deal. Okay. And I think that the steps that they've taken thus far and moving forward has been phenomenal. So you guys are seeing the Canton, which everybody calls the Gotta watch, right? We saw the Pursuit, fantastic pilot watch, but they just came out with GMT. And you know what? Let's go to the main page because it'll probably just pop up. Here it is. Let's go to pre-order. So they came out with two versions. Yes, that's their all blue dial, blue bezel insert. Phenomenal color, man. Navy blue. You can't go wrong with that. You know, it's a blueberry yum yum. You know what I mean? It's a blue. There's another version called the Black Widow. This is called what? The Blue Bonnet. Okay, fair enough. I like it. And here's the Black Widow. Let's take a look at that. Now, when we look at this collection, Black Widow, here we go. When we look at this collection, we're talking 1150, and we're talking about a lot of refinement. Let's see the full specifications. Hold on. What is this? That's a pop-up. 9075 still. Plus or minus 5 seconds per day. Custom rotor. Just phenomenal stats. Just phenomenal stats. I mean, here's the deal, man. Can we talk real quick? Can you and I talk? Jack Mason, if you're listening, I love this release. I love any release that you do. You guys can't go wrong. You make phenomenal watches. I've seen them in person. Your Canton, your Gotta watch is the Elam watch. I'm not much of a dress watch guy. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, let me bring that up. Since they've really started to put more into their watches and try to elevate, you're really seeing something different, right? From this brand for sure, right? Currently out of stock, by the way, and that makes sense. I'm not much of a dress guy, and this is a Swiss movement, right? So prior to that, they were doing more of the Japanese movements, which I have no problem for, but they started getting into SW200s. They started getting into Le Jour Perets. Actually, I don't even know. Let me see what movement this is. Can I get this? That was the SW210, by the way. And if you don't believe me, I'll show you because I'm getting good at switching screens. This is the SW210, right? To be fair, and then we have the Le Jour Peret for the pilot. So what's happening here? There are also other improvements, not just the movement. We're seeing loom blocks in their pilot, not as thick as what we've seen before. A little more reserved, but we're seeing micro brands elevate. Jack Mason is a perfect example. But here's the deal, and maybe you agree, maybe you don't agree. And actually another enthusiast made a comment about this. What I want to see from you, Jack Mason, Mr. Peter, I want to see your diver. Because here's the deal. If you look at Jack Mason's history, and they just celebrated 10 years in the making, a diver's always been a part of the core collection. Okay, and with some of us, when they buy the core collection of a diver, we only wear the bracelet, we only wear the strap, and we don't put on the bracelet. But I think it's time. And I'll tell you guys what, you may agree, you may not agree. I don't know what you're going to do here. It's a toss-up. But I think that what I would like to see from their diver is a internal rotating bezel instead of like your conventional one. Now, this is the straddle timer. Don't get it confused. This is their GMT. I don't even know. Do they even have their diver available? Let's see. Watches, collections. It's not the Canton Elm. It's not. So I think that they may have discontinued. And before I put my foot in my mouth, let's check their website to see if their divers are still available. Yeah, their divers are due. Hang on, let me put myself up here. Yeah. I got that gut feeling. Their divers are due. So Jacques Masson, I don't call him Jack Mason anymore, by the way. Since they started going Swiss, there's Jacques Masson. They're due for a diver. And that's always been a part of their core collection. More so their pilot, which is why they celebrated a 10-year anniversary with it. Stay with me. But they're due for a diver. And I want to say this. If I can put a suggestion in the suggestion box of Jack Mason, I would say, can you please do an internal rotating bezel? How do you guys feel about that? And there are a lot of other things that we can go with ISO certified. There's a lot, man. There's a lot. Like take a look at this. Take a look at this notice, right? This notice is 30 meters of water resistance with the crown wide open. You could do something like that. You could go to strong on the gasket gang. You could go 500 meters. You could go 500 meters. You can go ISO with the 200. I think internal rotating bezel, ISO certified, would be like the nice. And then, of course, they have like the Vickers on their stainless steel that they're doing as well. There's a lot of directions to go with that. There's a lot of evolutionary steps. I think that Jack Mason should do an internal rotating bezel for their diver next. That's what I'm going with. No problem, bro. Happy wife, happy life. Are you referring to me, sir? Come on, bro. Stop it. You know dang well who I'm referring to, and yes, it is you. So I think that that's the direction that Jack Mason should go for. I'm happy about their new release. I was hoping with their teasers on Instagram that it was going to be a diver, but I think, and I'll tell you what, man, I don't own a Jack Mason, but since you guys are interested to know my thoughts, I would like, personally, I'm going to pull the trigger eventually on a Jack Mason, and when I do, I really should be going Gotta Watch, to be honest with you. I'm very bezel heavy. And when I say bezel heavy, I mean divers, I mean GMTs. I mean, I'm staring at my micro brand box right now. 1, 2, 3. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. I have a little bit of non-bezel, but I'm very bezel heavy, whether it be a GMT, whether it be a diver. I really should be going with a Gotta Watch, and they made a phenomenal Gotta Watch when it came to the Canton. But I think that just going with a diver for sure, internal rotating bezel wouldn't. I'm not a big dressy guy. That's the thing. So that's that. Let me see what chat's talking about. Let me switch over. Hang on 1 second. Jack Mason for the win, bro. There's a reason why I consider them to be one of the greats. And a lot of people do, bro. A lot of people do. A lot of people have given them flowers. A lot of people have given them respects. Here's the deal. They're on that list. And what list do you talk about? I talk about the list of micro brands that are elevating, that are looking to improve aggressively, because they're all trying to improve. But I think that Jack Mason has steadily, and then again, man, I think that Miota 9075 for the Strat was really big waves to go with for sure. And again, going back to which one I would go for, Dr. Pepper, man. Dr. Pepper GMT would be the way. I really like the original one with the black dial. They discontinued that. They didn't discontinue. That was a limited edition, but it was so popular that they came out with the white dial. But then again, I'm really, really fascinated with white dials. So maybe I just pull the trigger on this one, man. But I don't know. There's so much confusion because I'm so heavy on bezels. So I don't know, man. I have to see. You know what? I'm going to wait to see what they do with their divers and then go for there. I digress. What else can we talk about? What other new releases can we talk about? I showed you guys the Wise. We are going to touch down with that. Oh, by the way, since we're talking about Texas, we talked about Dallas. Let's talk about Austin. And who am I talking about? None less than Dufresne Watches. And Dufresne Watches, here's the deal, man. Phenomenal. I had his last release on the channel. He's coming out with something else too. I don't know if I can spill the beans on what he's exactly coming out with. If you could read between the lines, you could probably figure out what he's going to redo, what he has in the making to re-release, if you know what I mean. I don't know if there's an embargo, so I can't give you guys everything, but I will tell you that you need to pay close attention to Dufresne, because he has something in the chamber for us, and I think you guys are going to like it a lot. Now, I am in communicado with Steven. We will get it on the channel eventually. My schedule has been kind of crazy, so I have to play my part and space things out. But that doesn't mean I can't report the news to you guys and tell you that Dufresne is a name that you want to have on your recent history of web searches very, very soon. I think we're looking at July right now for the next release. So, yeah, just pay attention to that. Now, again, for those who just are tuning in, I do have community post open. I want you guys to put me on to watch brands that you think I should be privy to and I should include on this channel. And by that, I mean, post your wrist shots of the watch brands or micro brands that you like the most, or just put into the comments what micro brands you think I should be talking about that I haven't talked about just yet. And I'll give you guys an example of that. Excuse me. Chihuahua. An example of that is Revelot. And I saw some reviews already on it. They had a new release. I do believe this is the one. And what we are getting, ladies and gentlemen, is loom blocks. Now, this is not a brand that I know so much about, but I can tell you what, from right now, from this new release, I do like the loom blocks. I do like the 6 o'clock position on here. We got a Miyota movement, so you can't go wrong with that. That's a 9015, so I like the 9000. That means it has 28,800 beats. Plus or minus 10 to 30 seconds. Okay, that's fine. I don't know the price point. That's the thing. What's the price point that we're talking about? Chihuahua. Okay. So 1085. Is that correct on what we're talking about here? Let's go back, because I'm not a big fan of black dials. I need a little color in my life. I think black dials, and I'm starting to get into white dials for sure. This looks like it's like a black loom. Oh, no, this is an all loom dial. I'm not mad at that. Yo, I'm not mad at that. I am not mad at this. Are you mad at this? I'm not mad at this. Yo, all loom dial. Look at me. Look at me. All loom dial. Listen, I'm no stranger to all loom dials. Leave it to me to fit in brew. I will always fit in brew. Brew is an all-loom dial. Noctua is an all-loom dial. Here's the deal. And yes, I will tempt you to make purchases if you watch this. I am now into all-loom dials because of the effect that it gives. It is super cool. And most of the time, you can't really botch it like you can on indices, on layers and stuff like that. But most of the time, when a brand does an all-loom dial like this, they're going all in. I'm really not mad at this negative space for the indices and the loom dial to bring that out. And then it looks like we have, is this C3? I think this is C3. The loom on the dial itself is definitely BGW9. That's blue, 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 blue. And then we have, I think, C3. I like that combo, bro. I like that combo. So this is a new brand to me, ladies and gentlemen. I have not dived deep into them. It looks like they have several different price points, which is very attractive to me for sure. But this is really intriguing for sure. I'm not a big fan of black dial, but at the same time, they have made it interesting with the loom blocks as well. I'm a big fan of the hands. I'm a big fan of the hands. And you guys are experiencing this with me, by the way. I really haven't dived deep into this brand for sure. 90-15, 100 meters of water resistance. I'm not mad at that. So this is like effectively like a pilot style watch, I guess. We have the 6 o'clock position for the aperture. It's matching the dial. There's a lot of promising things. And I've seen some reviews on it, so I know that it's not really like a mystery brand. But I'll tell you what, man, shout out to the person who told me to take a look at this brand. I will do a deeper dive. And from what I see now, Revelot, am I saying that right? Revelot. I think it's Revelot. Very promising, man. I'm really digging what I'm seeing so far from them for sure. And I think that, do they have like an all watches type of option here. I like when brands have, and they're sold out on a lot of watches. So that's also, to me, like just knee jerk reaction, a good indicator that they're popular. Not necessarily, right? They could just make really small batches. But also what I like to see, just so you guys know, I like to see micro brands. It's not necessarily like a mandatory type of thing, but I do like to see differences in price points. I do like to see I like to see that variation, like I just saw just now, right? We have $1,000 up to $134. I mean, and everything in between. I'm not mad at that. I like that because I like to be sensitive to what people can't afford, and everything else, if you will. Moving on. I think that this is, I'm trying to get like a bird's eye view. I would like to see like an all watch option. Here we go. All watch option. Guys, experience this with me, will you? Let's go to sort this from, I like to go high to low. High to low. Like a high low, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so what do we got here? This is a very interesting dial. This is very different. This is not at all a homage. I like this crown. This crown looks like it gives you no problem gripping it. And it also looks like we have meteorite, DLC. Oh, so they're really putting everything in the mix here. This is a good suggestion. Whoever suggested this, it eludes me the name. Whoever suggested this, only 30 pieces. But this is a very good micro brand suggestion for sure for us to take a look at. I love this. And you know what? There's a lot of affordability within this for sure. So it hits the nail on the head. And a lot of their watches are sold out. A lot of their watches, from what I see, bird's eye view, a lot of their watches that are their own type of style is sold out. So that's a good sign. Maybe I should reach out to them. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in the future. The size of it, you asked me the size of it. Let's take a look. Let's take a gander. I'm seeing 39. Hold on. Let's go back. Boom, boom. I'm seeing 39 here. If you're talking about the first one that I clicked into, which was this one, let's take a look at the specifications. And I do apologize. I can't see chat when I'm doing this. When I'm looking at the website, I can't see what you guys are saying. So I have to kind of do a back and forth. This looks like it's showing some specifications. This one says a 43 millimeter. So it's a big boy. It's a big boy. You know what? I really need like a drop down specifications. I wish they had something simpler. And that's one of my gripes, right? When it comes to micro brands, their websites are their bread and butter. They're how that we mostly experience their watches. So to not have that readily available or not have a drop down is a thing. I don't know if you guys can see this, but it says a 43 from corner to corner. So that's that. That one specifically is a 43 if you meant Oscar, that watch that I was looking at. That's the trend now of reissuing watches of way back with new material. Absolutely, man. And you know what? I'm not too mad about that because, you know, if you reissue a watch and you give it new material, different material on a watch can give it a brand new life. Definitely enough, I think, in my own opinion. So I'm not too mad about that. And then it also, you know, listen, here's the deal. When it comes to micro brands, especially, and I don't care if you're talking about the $300, $500, sub 1,000, or $1,500 range. I don't care what range you're talking about. There's a lot of competition. So I'm not mad if somebody goes into their archives and does a reissue, but it has to be significant enough to actually feel like a reissue, if that makes sense. And you got to understand that a lot of brands get their legs, right? They get their legs. They're trying and truing. Maybe they have something that propels the brand. And I'm going to include this, like this Brew Metric Retro, right? This is something that for me, I think personally propelled the brand. And now we're seeing them do mechanical watches, right? Automatic watches. And so would I be mad if Brew eventually went into that watch itself and did a mechanical version of it, I wouldn't be. It needs a little bit more time, but at the same time, sometimes you need a little bit more jizzy jazz in order to make it official. Larry's in the building. What's going on, man? Joining your live feed inspires me to get all of my watches, crank them up, and set the time for all of them. I have already set the time for 4 of them since I joined them. I appreciate you, bro. I'm glad that listen, here's the deal, bro. I love that you said that because I'm glad that I inspired, and I show a lot of watches. And I know that I give this salesman vibe. I'm a salesman by trade. That's my daytime job. So I get that some people sometimes feel that way, but I love the fact that I inspired you more to look at your collection and touch and feel your watches rather than you tell me that you put a whole bunch of watches in your cart and you can't control yourself. Am I mad if you choose one of these watches that I suggest for purchase? No, because I like to leave you guys. I like to lead you guys to the promised land. I'm not a guru. I'm more like a guide. But I'm glad that I inspire you more to touch and feel your watches that are in your collection because I'm a big advocate for that as well. Let me be clear here. I'm showing you guys a bunch of watches. A lot of them are in my collection. A lot of them are on websites. But I do have this notion, and usually it's at the beginning of the year, new year, new me, where I try to just focus on appreciating what I have before I jump into the next watch. So that's a thing, and I'm glad that I inspire you to do so, sir. Appreciate you on this live as always. The PRX is an example of what I believe to be born around the PRX, man. Come on, bro. I'm ready. I'm ready like jelly. Come on, bro. The PRX, guys, when we go, let's go back to watches and what they signify and what you appreciate from your watches altogether. This watch, the PRX, you can say what you want about it, and I don't really care. The PRX and this watch specifically, ladies and gentlemen, Powermatic 80, automatic, had to go that way. Incredibly accurate, super supple bracelet. And if you're into starting your watch collection, you cannot go wrong sub 1,000 for this watch for sure. And I beat the hell out of an AD for a price on this watch. I can't even tell you what I paid for it. So that's a thing. So for sure, I would recommend going into a AD that sells Tissot if you are interested in the PRX. But here's the deal. It's not so much the commercialization of the PRX that makes it so fantastic. I bought that watch at a significant time in my life. And we talk about value in watches and how we relate it. That watch signifies a significant come up for me. And it will never leave my collection. And I love it so much. And there's a lot of things. And there's a lot of watches in my collection that mark certain things for me that make it important in very different aspects. I showed you guys my M1.2, right? The Mark Time watch that signified the first time. Let me run through the gamut. Let me go on my tangents. I'm sorry if you're texting on the chat. I will get to it. But I think this is very important. Watch this. You ready? We're going to go through this quickly. Every watch that's in front of me in this watch box, by the way, I have 3 watch boxes. I'm staring at only one. And it's my main box, my micro brand watch, because that's what I'm most excited about this channel. Here's the deal. I showed you guys my M1.2. That was the first watch given to me as a watch content creator. That's why I love that watch the most. Super attached to it. Watch this. 35 years old, wife gets Venetianico Rendendore Aventurina. Super attached to it. Noctua watches. First, I was the first content creator that he sent this to review the watch and take a look at it. That meant so freaking, I wanted to curse. That's how inspired I am. That meant so much to me. Brew watches, I got to represent New York. And guess what? I got their retrograde Lumiment and I've got their metric retro. Okay. So when we talk about micro brands and we talk about now here's the deal. I'm a New York guy. Wherever you are, find the micro brand that is in your home city to rep. I want you to purchase a watch for somebody that's in your backyard. I want you to support the watch enthusiast that decided to make his enthusiasm into a business, put pencil to pad and create the watch. That's what you're looking at when you're looking at these 2 watches. Is that the only New York inspired micro brand that I'm interested in that fires me up? Absolutely not. We have Island watches that I showed you guys before. Guess what? When we talk about Venetianico, we're running through the gamut. I want you guys to keep up. When we talk about Venetianico, here's the deal. I reached out to them to do a review. I purchased this watch was a gift, right? This one I reached out to them and I said, hey, this is the one that interests me the most. You have a gold dial, you have a tungsten bezel. This is what luxury means to me when we talk about microbrands. If you think that you cannot get luxury out of microbrands, I want you to listen to my channel. The longer you listen here, the greater you will understand how you're getting luxury out of these brands without them being actually luxury brands. So here's the deal. I said, I'm interested in this watch. Can you send it to me? I never say that I have to keep the watch. I always include that it's not necessarily for me to keep it. It can be a loaner, which is why Dufresne reached out to me, because he's not interested in people keeping his watch. Neither is Brew Watches. I'm getting off topic, but I want to be transparent. However, sometimes when a micro brand is big enough and or they don't really want the watch back, they let you keep it. This is an expensive watch. They let me keep it. That signifies my appreciation for what I'm doing here on YouTube and made me feel that, man, they invested $1,200 in me in a watch for me to do a review. That signifies that, plus it's gold dial, tungsten bezel. I mean, when you talk about a flex, come on. What else do we have? We have the Notice X Watch Crunch Flyboy. Why is this one so significant in my collection? Because here's the deal. It's not just about me getting the watches as a watch reviewer. It's about the story. And I'll tell you the story about this one. Before Max left Watch Crunch, he messaged me and he said, hey, bro, I love what you've been doing in the community. I want to offer you this watch for you to do a review on it. And he sent this over to the channel. So there has been a lot to go into the watches that I have in my collection. And there's a lot to the story when it comes to it. So there's also Vario. I talk about Vario a lot, man. Now, I've featured Vario a lot on the channel. Most of the time, their watches on tour. However, sometimes those tours reach an end. It just so happened with the Vario Pilot, I was the last stop. And I've been a big advocate for his straps because they are super what? Supple. Yes. So this watch was offered to me because I did the review on it. And he said, you know what, man? If you want it, you can keep it. And I said, I'm a watch enthusiast, so of course I'm going to keep the watch. I'm clearing the box, just so you know. Zelos was a huge achievement, in my opinion. And I showed you guys this one, the Meteorite. It was a huge achievement for me to be able to work with Zelos and do a review. Now, here's the deal. And here's the transparency. Here's what you're going to get from this channel. The reason why I was able to successfully work with Zelos was timing. It was just timing. He was just about to release this Mako watch for his refresher in his brand. And he says, yo, Sky, I'm about to release this. If you could get this video out in this amount of time, that would work for me. And I'll send you the watch. Now, here's the deal. Sometimes it's not worth the brands to get the watch sent back, because at that point, it's a used watch. And if they're not privy to putting it on tour, then they want to reward the reviewer for doing the review. Fair? So it was just pure timing when it came to that one. And guess what? I've drank the Kool-Aid when it came to Zelos. I now understand why people love it. And I don't just say that because I have the watch. I say that because I've experienced it. And I think you guys can see what goes on in the community and everything else of the like. Now, the last one in my watch box, which I probably have to swap out, but is my SKX 009. And you guys all know this. Everybody and their mother and their mom and their grandma and their auntie is waiting for this watch, the SKX 009, to be replaced officially. What do I mean by that? ISO 200 meters. Perhaps they're waiting for an upgrade with the sapphire crystal, because you guys know that this is Hardlex. Is it going to happen? Probably. Eventually. When? Who knows? But I'll tell you what. if you're waiting for the replacement for the SKX007 or 009, what you really should be doing is getting yourself a Seiko King Turtle. Why do I say that? Well, it's ISO certified. It has sapphire crystal. It has day date. It has an upgraded movement with the hacking and hand winding. Although, to be honest, and I'll be honest here, would I want all my watches to not have a hand wind and non-hacking? Absolutely not. The fact that this is the only one is very nostalgic in the collection, is very, what's the word? It's very special, right? But I just showed you guys the King Turtle, right? So for me, and I get that the case dimensions are differently. I get that if you have a certain wrist, then this watch may be too big rather than this watch. And yes, I modified the bezel insert, by the way. But at the end of the day, specification-wise, stop waiting and get yourself the black dial or get yourself the green dial or get yourself any King Turtle, and just stop waiting, because that watch is going to be very expensive. And I'll tell you what, to cap things off, because we're going to land this plane, because we're getting there. We're getting there. The altitude is descending, and we are getting to our destination. I'll tell you what, man. You might want to even skip steps. And I showed you guys this watch before. This is the Squale 1521. Polished like. You might want to switch things up. You might want, because here's the deal, man. The Squale, I'm not going to say it gives me Seiko vibes, because that would be disrespectful. There's a lot of history in Squale. They provided a lot of cases for a lot of different big brands before deciding to produce a watch themselves. But I can say this, man. If you are in the market and you have the wallet for such a watch, the depth rating on that, just the specifications, period. The specifications, period, is insane on that watch. And I'm fully enjoying it for sure. Let me catch up on chat. I do apologize. Let me catch up on chat. Hold on. Before I catch up on chat, let me make sure the websites are clear. We talked about Noctua. We talked about my man, Mark Time. Big fan of Mark Time, guys. By the way, if you ever are at a watch show, please do me a favor and check out my man, Mark Time. Check out his watches. I mean, just like, look at this soft blue. The colors that he's chosen, the evolution of the brand. That's what I love the most, man. If you look at the watch that I have on wrist and you look at the watch that they're showing on screen, that I'm showing you on screen, I would even go with the pink, bro. I would even go like, this is different. This is different. Still got that Bauhaus movement. You still have that super minimalistic. Now, the difference, as we can see here, is you're not getting those braille bumps on there. What do you mean, Skylar? I'll show you. I will show you. Let's go back. Let's go back in time, because I don't think the camera could pick it up. I'm looking for the M12. Is that it? Yes, this is it. And you know what? Just for argument's sake, let's bring up the watch that I have, and let's see if we can blow this up. I don't know if you guys could see it, but there are braille on the side here. I don't know if that's close enough. Point is that the new watch that he has, which is the M6, he's gone from the M1.2 to the M6. I love this, man. All of the colors. You have the forest green. You have this phenomenal, and it's textured too. It's textured. It looks like you could bite right into that, like an orange. And guess what? Minimalistic. Like, I don't know how you guys feel about branding, but super minimalistic when it comes to the 12 o'clock branding. You almost have to get a jeweler's loop to look at that all together, right? So hang on one second. Just all the colors. I love it. And if you get a chance, man, the owner is just an absolute gentleman for sure. He's an absolute gentleman. So worth checking out. So with that being said, let me catch up on chat, and then we're gonna bounce out of here. We're gonna get out of here. I think I've taken up too much of your time. We're way past the time that I wanted to. But I do appreciate you guys spending the time with me. It's been awesome. Where were we? Visitor. Yeah. So Travis, thank you so much for putting that in chat. Here's the deal, man. This is why I love having the network that I have, because I don't know everything. I can't know everything. It's just too much grounds to cover. But here's the deal. When you make alliances with phenomenal people like Trap Vision 3D, that's his channel. His name is Travis Wiley. He's also known the GOAT of lives. When you make relationships with guys like him, you can cover a lot of bases. And what he's alluding to, you ladies and gentlemen, as I put my collection back away, he's alluding that Visitor is coming out with something super summer and fantastic. So if you are a Visitor fan, and guess what? I saw them at Windup 2024. Yes, 2024. And I like their watches, bro. I love their watches. And guess what? He's plugged into the Matrix when it comes to Visitor, and he's telling us that something is coming. So prepare yourselves. That means that you need to put the Visitor website into your search bar for sure. Check it out. They're not cheap, bro. I'm not even sure. I've gone so far off the tangent. That watch is sick. What do you think about Boltony watches? Boltony watches? Boltony watches is a separate subject. I have a Boltony watch. I have the Vacheron Constantine homage. I think that for the watch enthusiast that they're trying to serve, which is me, by the way, because I purchased their watch was not loaned into the channel. When it comes to affordable watches, when it comes to getting good finishing, when it comes to getting homage watches that are not just Rolex, right? Like they're homaging the Vacheron Constantine driver watch. I think that what they're doing is very exciting. I also am privy to the fact that they are doing different iterations as far as movement goes. JP texted me that he's sorry for texting me on live. It's fine, bro. They mess around with different movements. They have great finishing. I think that for the category that they're trying to serve, they're doing what they do very good, very well, and doing what they do best. So I'm not mad at Boltony. If you want to grab a Boltony, more power to you. I'm all for it. There's no category of watches that I stay away from. I encourage a watch on your wrist. When you ask me about Boltony, I'll go deeper and tell you that whatever watch you want to put on wrist, as long as you're wristing something, is phenomenal. Because it's not about slicing that pie into more sections. It's about growing that pie and getting an extra large pie, if you will. Does that make sense? We got to land this plane, ladies and gentlemen. Let me catch up on chat. Okay, so I went there. Wow. I have 2 Revelot GMTs. They're great, but still for sale. It is what it is, bro. And there's nothing wrong with that. Ben 10. I wouldn't sell it, but I do like the Brew Watch Retrograph. Yo, I'm telling you, Brew watches, I'm a big fan. And yes, it has to do with partially that I'm a New Yorker. I'm transparent with you guys. But listen, it's a phenomenal watch. And if you're in New York, if you happen to be watching this and you're in New York, I think that the pop-up shop is still happening. So make your way over there, man. You won't regret it for sure. Very intimate. But to get hands-on on the watches and to have your own time, I'll tell you what, if you go during the wind-up fairs, there is always a line to be fought through. Man, I'm all over the place. Hang on. If I missed something on chat, I apologize. I just went too much on a tangent. I wish I had the case smaller, but a bit thinner and elegance. Blue Watches is looking new. On the website, the magic wasn't there for me, but I put I'm telling Ben 10, if not anything else, I'm telling you right now, pull the trigger on a Brew Watch, bro. You will be pleasantly surprised. Here's the deal. I understand that it is for the most part, a quartz watch, but dude, the feel of that watch feels mechanical all the way. It's hybrid, right? It's a hybrid movement, but the pushers, dude, it's so great. I'm telling you, man, listen, do what you got to do. But Robert Wood, I'm late. Howdy, everyone. Robert Wood is in the building. He blessed us with his presence. Mr. Wood is in the house. Yes, howdy. I'm capped out for the year. You're not capped out, bro. You have unlimited funds. Here's the deal, Ben 10. I know you. and all of your investments are in place. Therefore, I know that you definitely have a couple more bucks to spend. Did you know about Zelos Mako and Arabus Ascent were designed by the same person? I, if that's, dude, you know more than me at that point. I don't know. Were they designed by the, I mean, how's that? They're different companies. So, I mean, does that mean that he couldn't have knocked on, Zelos' door and say, "Can you design a watch?" No, I didn't know that. If that's true, listen, I've often talked about how micro brands are a tight-knit community, so that wouldn't be a surprise to me. I don't know if that's true, but that wouldn't be a surprise to me. I need one of those Noctua models. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Sir Wood, everybody's showing respect to Mr. Wood. And he likes to poke fun at me, Mr. Wood, because I have an early bedtime and my wife goes to bed very early. I go to bed at the same time as her. He likes to poke fun, but I hope that one day I'm able to go up on the Watch Hangout for sure, man. I really enjoy that show, and I do appreciate him taking the time to show love on this channel. Stella watches, I definitely, bro. They have. Hurry up and think of it. They have phenomenal watches, dude. When you talk about texture and dial, that denim type of look, the vibrance in color, the specifics in color that they use, the case back that has the Statue of Liberty. I'm definitely gonna grab a Stella watch. Here's the deal. Here's what I gotta do. Yo, it's so crazy because like I kind of push the agenda for you guys to put me on to watch brands for a specific reason. And the reason is because, dude, I've attended 2023 windup, I've attended 2024 windup, and I walked past Stella. I didn't walk past it. I noticed their watches and I did pay attention, but I didn't even know that they were New York based both times. This is why I need you guys to give me the juice. I need you guys to give me the news. I 100%, I'm going to go live on the next windup. Probably all 3 days because I'm a maniac and I don't want to edit. But I'll tell you this, man. I'll tell you what, I'm making a beeline to Stella watches because I like to rep New York. And guess what? From a bird's eye view, I've seen phenomenal things in the dial and I've only heard good things. Have I heard as much as I heard from the other names that we mentioned? I'm not going to cap. I've heard more from Zelos. I've heard more from Wise. Just like the ruckus, the noise, the amount of enthusiasm. But I'll tell you what, man, I'm going to make it my mission. Just like I push Brew, I'm going to make it my mission to push Stella because I got to represent New York. You know what I mean? I love Laurier. Laurier is another way. Laurier is another way. Listen to me. Listen to me, Linda. Listen. I think Laurier makes phenomenal watches altogether, round up. I think that the way that I have my collection composed, I haven't found a watch from them that will be an addition to my collection that will be a standout that I need to have. That being said, I'm going to own a Laurier for sure. So I'll tell you what, Stella, Laurier, Jack Mason, Wise are a few names, Formex are a few names that I'm going to own. Laurier is a New York-based brand. I push the agenda of supporting your hometown micro brands. And therefore, I'm for sure going to own one. I could very easily pull the trigger on a bunch of their watches. But I haven't found one that tickle my fancy that fits into the collection of what I already own. I don't want to get things misconstrued. I don't want to say that I don't own a Laurier yet because I don't like any of their watches. Like, I love all of their watches. I just have to find something that is so different from my collection. Is that fair? Anybody out of Philly? Mark Time. Mark Time is a brand that I push that's out of Philly. And listen, Eric, I represent Philly, just so you know. Just because I'm in New York doesn't mean that I don't represent. Listen to me. Listen to me. I will be at the Philly Watch Show. Did you even know that there was a watch show? I hope so, Mr. Eric Mack. If you don't know that there's a watch show in Philly, now you know. It's happening before Windup, so that's September. Windup is in October. You need to go to that show. Sal Baltimore, Dufresne, Mark Time, E. Stolman. These are the names that were at the show. And when I tell you that it is a smaller show, but when I tell you that smaller shows have their pluses tremendously, like super intimate, like you could spend an hour talking to the brand owner. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, Google Philly Watch Show. When one is thirsty to buy a new watch, set a goal. And how determined you'd be to achieve that goal. Yeah, man, I agree. And if you set a goal with a watch, like my Tissot PRX was a goal watch. Not that it was a goal for me to get the watch, but it was a goal for me to purchase the watch once I reached a goal outside of watch collecting. But it signified that, attached to it for life. Mr. Tom Hudson is in the building. I'm sorry, sir, if it took so long to get to your comment. Hey, dude, any new watches purchased? We'll get to that later on. I'll just say that. But I'll tell you what, Mr. Tom, and I know you love the Brew all gold dial. I put Tom onto that, but no, I didn't put him onto that. But I brought it up during his live stream, and I'm you know, trying to influence him. Just saying. Hand hard for 50th anniversary. I went from my 1 book a year, 23 watches, 12 books a year. Man, I ain't reading no books. That's what YouTube's for. Burgundy Meteorite, that hands down is my favorite watch. Yeah, man, Burgundy, man. Speaking of that, Larry, I've got to get a red dial, another red dial. I have one, but it's affordable. I got to get another red dial. I was thinking about the Zelos Pride of Thailand, Geneva stripes, gold plated, phenomenal watch. That might happen one day. Let me catch up on chat. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to land this plane. Islander put a great alternative. Yes, that's what they're known for. Islander is known for bringing Islander is known. So Mark started by giving us the souped up 007 that we should have gotten. So I absolutely agree. Perfect size. Noctua, yes, perfect size. That's sexy. I'm trying to catch up on chat, and then we are out of here, ladies and gentlemen. The landing gear is down. The landing gear is down. Those hands on the mark wheel are sexy. The dial's good. Yeah, bro. I'm telling you what, man. And guess what, bro? I'll tell you what. Just one more time. Let me hit you with it one more time. You see those indices, the railroad track? Yeah, that's loomed. That's loomed. And the hands, bold, that's loomed as well. So when you go into a nocturnal setting, shout out to Noctua watches. When you go into a nocturnal setting and the loom hits you for this, telling you, man, I'm telling you, Mark Time. Yes, I knew which one. I've been dealing with a crazy customer and listening. That's okay, bro. That's okay. You just be like, yo, I'm listening to my man Skylar Santana. You need to bye. You need to yes or no, and get out of my face. Oh, Bearcroft. I know the name. I got to do homework. I know the name. I got to do homework. I agree. I know the name. I know I've checked them out before. I got to do more homework on them. I can't speak intelligently about them. I just can't decide between the Seeker and the Element. I'm going to do homework since you bring it up. Tim Cheese Man, he's a cheese, man. Yeah, I got to land this plane, bro. We're going heavy. I'm showing a long time on this live. As soon as I catch up on chat, you guys are going crazy with the chat. I have a few more pieces to obtain in 2025. Bro, listen to me, Travis Wiley. The thing is, there is no goal. If you think there's a goal per year on set watches, the goal is when you say damn, I spent too much money. I got to chill out. Because honestly, there's just too much to choose from in so little time and not enough funds. Just saying. Uh, have her start drinking coffee around 7 p.m. The problem with that, Robert Wood, is that coffee doesn't affect her at all. She's a big coffee drinker, and she could drink a cup of coffee. She could drink an espresso and go straight to bed. So there's that. There's that. So maybe one day it's just the stars in line are gonna have to happen, unfortunately. But listen, there's strength in being in the comment section and rallying the troops. Just saying. Not everybody has to be on panel. You could bring up some good points on chat, just like you're doing on this live. I got to get hands on tips in there at some point. I have not even heard of that. I got to do homework. Stella is a gem. Dude, I need to spend more time, and I really hope, Trap Vision 3D, that you come to Wind Up. I really hope that you come to Philly. Me and you could go to the lemonade stand together and really take it apart. Those Wise look excellent. So, yeah, man, and guess what? I'm in talks with Wise. I last left off with Wise that they're going to send me a watch. We settled on a watch that they're going to send me. So hopefully the next time you see me, because it only takes 5 to 7 business days, which is phenomenal coming from Thailand, to get their watch. Hopefully the next time that you see this face, we're opening up a Wise box. And I'm super excited, just like how I was with other brands like Zelos, because I've only heard good things about them. And I'm just excited, man. I love doing these things, and I love this, man. I love that you guys are on here. Dude, you guys are on here for a long time. I love this. I love this. I'm trying to catch up on chat, man. Stella! You guys know where that's from, right? You know where that's from, sir. Tom, I have a good new Casio ready for an unboxing, but I'll be ready for a brew. Bro, okay, guys, hold on. I know I said I was going to land this plane, but you know what? I got to do it. I got to do it for my man, Tom. Hold on, wait, real quick. Real quick. I want to show you guys the watch that he's interested in. Hang on. Hang on while I pull this up. Give me a second. Watch this. Don't watch me, watch TV. Boom. This is the watch that Tom really likes. Yo, can I say something? I know that a gold watch is an acquired taste. But I'll tell you what. I think that if he goes for this, fire. I think, Tom, pull the trigger. Tom, I need you to do something for me, Tom. I need you to do something for me. I need you to go on the Brew website and pull the trigger right now. However, I do know that you're trying to purchase a house, so please purchase responsibly. But I need you to pull the trigger. I need to live vicariously through your gold watch selection. Because I'll tell you what, man, when it comes to gold watches, when it comes to a watch being on time, when it comes to a phenomenal web-based brand, a micro brand, that's fuego, my guy. That's fuego. I think you should do it. Here's the thing. They got it right because they did the black dial. They did the black hole surrounded by the gold. Now, here's what I did for a gold, right? I did a gold dial instead of doing the gold watch. But I think everybody needs a gold watch eventually. Maybe you have to age into a gold watch. I don't know. I don't have an old gold watch. Plated, non-plated, real gold, not real gold, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a thing. It's. I think eventually I'll do it. But Tom, I need you to do the right thing. I need you to do the right thing and make the purchase. Just saying. Oh, by the way, Oscar, I just answered your question. That was the one that's the one he's going for. The metric, yes. The metric all gold. That's the one he loves. The goal is always +1. Exactly. Wise and Venetianico. Oscar, why are you trying to get brownie points, bro? Why are you trying to get brownie points? Why are you trying to rattle the cage? I'm trying to land the plane, but you're like the operator saying that you're not clear for landing. I need you to circle around the perimeter a couple of more times. Yes. Why is it Venetianico? Absolutely. Looking at Vostok. Yo, I was wearing my Vostok the other day. Here's the deal, man. Man, you guys are going to keep me on here for 2 hours. Vostok Amphibia 200 meters. I got mine for $75. I put a Spidel bracelet on it. If you don't know what Spidel is, I'll put you on game. Spidel is a stretchy bracelet for watches, right? That old school grandfather bracelet. And if you think that it pulls hairs, it doesn't. I have my Vostok on there, bro, the Amphibia. I modified the bezel insert. I've shown you guys before. I don't have it with me right now, but oh my God. 200 meters, funky chicken crown because it has the wobbly crown that nobody's used to, but you will get used to it if you own one. Yeah, dude, 70, $75. It's probably like 125 now with the difference in price after the years that I purchased it, but Vostok is fantastic. Vincent H is in the building. He says, hi, Skylar. Hi, everyone. Oh, my God. Sir Vincent, I do appreciate you. Yeah, Tim Cheese. View, bro, why you got to do it to me? View Retrograph Espresso is, yes. I had to go with the Lumiment. If you guys saw my live from the brew shop, that was on my radar. Dude, I was back and forth. I went with the Lumiment because Noctua put me onto Loom dials. But I ended up going with the Lumiment, and I have a couple of straps for it. I don't know if I go bracelet. Look at that blue, baby blue strap with the Lumi, with all Loom. This is an all Loom dial, guys. Oh my God. I don't know, man. That just sung to me the most, for sure. Oh, man. Here we go. Good flight. I applaud the pilot. Yo, my boy. First of all, let me show you a pilot watch since you said that. This is a pilot watch by Notice, the Flyboy edition. And because you had the super chat, I got to do the super chat with the Eric Mack with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you so much for the applause. I guess I'm the pilot on this one, and Oscar agrees. I do appreciate you. Yo, I'm trying to land this plane. You guys are I'm never gonna catch up to chat with my tangents and your comments. We're gonna be on here for 5 hours. Guess what? If you want a 5-hour live, I can't do 5 hours, bro. Are you kidding me? I need water. Hold on 1 second. Get some water. But when it came to the retrograph for the Brew Watch, I don't know, man. That one sung to me for sure. But that chocolate dial too. Yeah, I might have to recircle there for you. Yeah, appreciate you, bro. Oh, Trap Vision 3D. This is the real soul plane. You can't land yet, bro. I'm trying to land this plane, bro, but the runway is not clear. Trap Vision 3D with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Really do appreciate you. I can't, bro. The runway is not clear. Oh, I got to the end. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I got to land this plane before more comments come in. Here's the deal. I appreciate you guys, and I hope that you got a lot out of this. This was a lot of fun. I showed you guys a lot of micro brand watches. There are some new releases. There are tons of releases to go for. Please buy responsibly. After all that being said, please buy responsibly. And before we end off, I want to say this. Community is everything. This wouldn't even be fun if not for the community, if not for what we do here, if not for how we connect. I opened up community chat. Please, if you feel compelled, post up your wrist shots, post up watch brands that you think that I should be privy to. I'll include them on the next live following from the post. And let's have some fun, man. That's what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for spending your most valuable asset, which is time. And I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Later, guys. And by the way, happy Father's Day for all the voles that apply. Hopefully you get a watch because fathers are unappreciated. And you know what, man? That ain't right. Happy Father's Day, ladies and gentlemen, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend. Peace.